Hello and welcome back to another week, another episode of The Garden of Ethan. I welcome you back. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're joining me another week on the podcast. We're having a fun time. Got plenty of things. The thing I love about this is just the things I think of through the week. You know, when you're just like doing things throughout your weekly schedule, weekly going about, and you just you think certain things and you're like, I'd love to just talk about that more, or go in depth about something, or even small things you just think of and you're like, wouldn't that be fun to just have a chat about, or literally talk at someone, which is kind of what this is, which is funny when I think about it in that way, where you just could you imagine someone does you're friends with someone who talks to you like they're their own podcast, but they're a solo podcast. They just talk at you for 45 minutes and then leave. Oh my gosh. But it's just fun. I've got a couple of different topics that I've thought about, wanted to talk about, some Christmas stuff because that's coming up. But firstly, one of the best things, I get to explore my closet for this. I look every time because I'm I want to wear something nice, maybe collared, just more usually, for my reactions and stuff, I'm just in a t-shirt and just chilling, because when you're here for when I'm focused on something else, I'm I just want to be comfortable and enjoy, take that in. But for this, I'm I want to wear something nicer and something a bit different. So I go into my wardrobe and I'm looking at things. I'm what are we gonna wear this week? And some things sometimes I'm I am running out. I do not have any clothes left. And then I realize, yes, I do. I need to stop being pedantic. I have all these, because I don't know if anyone goes through a complete phase where you buy a lot of clothes, or you go through a phase where you're buying a lot of clothes, or there's clothes that you've bought when you're in a different period of your life and you don't wear them as much anymore. This shirt is one of them. Also, it feels great. Just take my word for it. It's soft. I don't know how to explain it. Silky, I guess. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's one of those materials where it feels very soft to touch. But it was one of those shirts where I was I haven't worn you in ages. And I feel bad sometimes when, you buy a lot of clothes and you don't end up wearing them as much. So it's great I get to pull out some random thing. I have one item of clothing that's is gonna be a weird one when I get to it. It's a shirt. It's leopard print. I bought it. I think I wore it once. I then never wore it again. Because sometimes, I don't have the biggest amount of confidence out of all people in the world, and clothing is one of those things where I have confidence in certain things. Clothing and what I wear, sometimes I'm one of those people where I'm I have my style, as you develop different styles, I'm I'll stick with that, and sometimes different things absolutely scare me. I'm no, I'm not gonna wear that because I don't know how to be confident, because Clothes are such a strange thing. They just give you such confidence that you kind of don't expect. Sometimes you're if you're wearing something weird, you can be a bit taken aback. But when you're in the things you know, and you like the way you look in it, you're holy shit, I'm looking good, I'm feeling good, I'm ready to take over the world. And that's that's why I was some of the different shirts I have, I'm yes, best, we're gonna do so well. Some of them I'm whoa, haven't worn you in a while. But I like this, it's fun. It's kind of reflective. Not reflective, that is not the word. It's a bit shiny, and so that's fun. But Christmas time. Holy shit. Holidays for people who don't celebrate Christmas. December time in general is here. How the hell are we at this point in the year already? I do not understand in the absolute slightest. Why are we here? Why is time moving so quick? It was January, a month ago in my mind. I don't know. Do you remember when you were a kid and time went so, you were in primary school and time went so slowly, and you were living for you're living for the holidays, which I guess a lot of people still are, but you're living for your school holidays, and just time goes so slow on classes, and you're I'm gonna be a kid forever. And then when you look back on it, you're that was a flash, that went so quickly. And then you're bam, years are going by, and it's why does time do this? I hate it. It's so awful. But at least, I was having a good year. I hope everyone is too. But holy shit, is it moving quickly. But Christmas time is coming up. And I don't know, like, for y'all that celebrate, how you doing it? How's it going? How we doing? Have you got your presents ready? Like, some people who watch, I'm assuming, have kids. Are we prepped and ready? That fascinates me, to be a parent during Christmas. Just like having to like buy things for like, and like make sure it's like, and you want to do like your best job and make it feel magical. And I don't think it's necessarily about like how much you buy or what the best presents is. I think making it magical doesn't even have to relate to that. In my opinion, I guess, everyone's different in those ways. But like, what's everyone doing for Christmas if you celebrate? What's going on? What are we doing? We baking ham? We baking? We're cooking a ham, we're cooking a turkey, we're cooking chicken. Okay, disclaimer, don't hate me. I'm not a turkey guy. At Christmas, like, I love when my family puts on a lot of different meats. I enjoy it so much. As we know, if you've watched any really sort of something that has ever seen food that I have reacted to, I'm a food person, I love to eat. But turkey just ain't it. I love ham, like Christmas ham. Divine, magical, the best, absolute top echelon of Christmas meats. Chicken is definitely there. Chicken's like a go-to. It's a staple. It's good. It just works. Chicken is fantastic. Also high in protein. We love. But turkey, man. Turkey is just like... It's like chicken's like weird cousin. You're like, I don't really want you here. And it has a taste, and I know people love turkey. I know people love a bit of turkey time, but I just can't get around it. I can't do it. I'll eat it. Like, I'm not adverse to eating turkey, but I'm just like, nah, I definitely pick other things. What other like meats do people have on the table? I could do like fish for Christmas. That would be love. Ooh, like salmon. Like, we always stick to the like the land meat animals. And then we have like desserts for Christmas. Like, I know in Australia we do a lot of Christmases. Definitely everyone's doing like a pavlova. That is a big thing. Ooh, I love a pavlova for Christmas. That's great. And my family still does it. Fruit plum pudding. What's the thing? And it's like, you turn it up, you put it in you like boil it kind of, and then you plop it down, and then it tastes like absolute crap. It's fine. It's just not good, and it's filled with like raisins, but I'm a raisin. I like raisins, but like, ooh, I don't know if it's plum pudding, Christmas pudding. Is that what it's called? Oh, just so bad. It is not my favorite. Every time Mum brings it out on Christmas, I'm just like, don't you dare. I'm not going to eat it. I'm like, no way. I'm like, just give me some ice cream and I will have that by myself, because I will always overeat and indulge on Christmas, because 'tis the season. 'Tis the time. I do love a pavlova. I'm like thinking of like what else like we eat on Christmas, or like different Christmas traditions. What traditions do you do on Christmas? I'd love to know like what other people do, or like how other like... I don't know if some things are like unique to Christmas. Like, Christmas to me is always like, because I live in Australia, it's like, wearing shorts and a t-shirt or like a button-up shirt, just been like really hot, sitting near an air conditioner or a fan, chilling, eating some fun foods, or like a nice lovely salad, because like you want like the freshness, because it's like maybe like going for a swim somewhere could be always a great thing. There is that like picture, and I've talked about like Christmas and holidays in Australia before, and I love talking about how they're different, but like the thought of a white Christmas is like delightful, and like the snow, but there's just something like fun to me about just like the vibiness of a hot Christmas. It just feels like a fun like barbecue party. It just happens to have like presents, and what are they called? Bonbons. They're a staple. They have to show up at the Christmas table, or I'm riding. I'm not showing up. I'm just like, you need that, the thing where you like pull both of them and it like explodes into a toy. What is it? It's like a crappy toy, a crappy joke, and a hat. One of those paper hats. I literally was looking at my desk here. Is this strange? I have had these here. I have a toy car, and like a cube that was a keychain, but is also like a puzzle. It comes apart from 1 or 2 Christmas ago. I always keep the things because I think they're so like fun and like unique and just like interesting. You know what I mean? Like they're such like dumb little toys, but I also have hoarding capabilities, so I like keep absolutely everything. Is that a problem? Yes. But we're working on it. No, we're not. We're literally not at all. But I always do like the jokes in a bonbon. They're so much fun. They all suck, and they all definitely have been on Google, and they all definitely run like I don't know how often they refresh their jokes, but I still love it. I still love it watching my family, because like my family is usually older, so there's not a lot of like, ooh, we love a joke, do not get me wrong, but like we all think about it because we're not hearing these dumb jokes often or anything. But now we've got to talk about this on the Christmas topic. I have to bring it out. I have to talk about it. I was watching YouTube Shorts. I deleted backstory. I deleted TikTok a good while ago. One of those things where I was just spending too much time on it. I don't know if you like to scroll the talk like I do, but maybe I was spending way too much time on it, not doing my work, not doing what I should be doing in a day. So deleted that, and obviously you need to fill the void of short form content because as a young person, I am useless and I need to see quick things all the time to stimulate my brain. I will at least admit it. But I was going through my YouTube Shorts and I've been watching these like, because, you know, you see one, you watch a lot of it, then you'll get like that over and over again. But it's like, I forget what they were called, and I was meant to write it down. But they're called like the American High School Comedy or something. They're definitely not in like high school, but they like act like they're in high school, and they do all these like comedy sketches, and they're actually really fun. They're really funny. There's like a group cast and different people. I don't know. They're very good, and the sketches they plan out are like chaotic, but they definitely look like they've like been well planned, well written and stuff. But I was like scrolling through and I like saw one and I was like, okay, like it's Christmassy. We're watching it, we're seeing it, we're looking at the Christmas times, we're seeing what's going on. And they like walk into the kitchen and there's like 2 people playing parents and they're like making something and they're like, we're making eggnog. And they're like, oh, what's that? And they're like, oh, this disgusting thing. And I was like, what do you mean disgusting thing? And then they're like, yeah, it tastes like shit and it's all gloopy. I was like, what do you mean it tastes like shit? They're like, yeah, it's awful. They like pretend to drink it, they spit it out. I was like, why would you spit out eggnog? I would like to put another disclaimer. Have I ever made my own eggnog? No. I've said this in literally something else. I don't know when. It was definitely in a reaction sometime. I've never made my own eggnog. I know I should. Maybe it tastes completely different. But store-bought eggnog is fucking delicious. It was in the Grinch, my reaction to the Grinch. If you watch that, you'll see another whole spiel on eggnog. But they were slandering eggnog. And I was so mad. I was so upset. I wasn't actually. But I was just like, eggnog gets so disrespected. I think it is a quality beverage. I think it's delicious. I think people hate it because they hate milk-based products. Not like, just like people don't like a lot of milky things. I think that is something that people don't prefer as much as literally any other thing. But it's like, eggnog is the shit. Yes, I grew up drinking it. Yes, now I like it with a bit of alcohol because I'm an adult and it just feels great. Pop a bit of Bailey's in there. Oh my god, Christmas is come home. I remember one Christmas, I had a couple too many eggnogs. Everything was hilarious. I was like, one of the best Christmases ever. Everyone was like making crappy like old people jokes. I was laughing my head off. I laugh anyway. My family is actually like fairly funny. I wouldn't admit it to them, but like they got some good jokes. But I was like, what the hell? This eggnog is delicious. Mum's like, yeah, a lot of Bailey's in there. I was like, oh, okay. Shouldn't have had so much eggnog. Also give me another. Fill me up. Chop me up. But yeah, I feel like eggnog gets the worst rap. And I feel really bad for it. You know what I mean? I feel saddened. I feel depressed for Eggnog. I think Eggnog needs a marketing campaign. They need a marketing team and a marketing manager because we need to bring it back to the forefront. This is the weirdest tangent to go on ever, but I love a good eggnog. I love it. That's my speech. That's my time. We're ending the podcast now. 16 minutes in, and we're like, yeah, we're done. We're done with the we're done with the eggnog talk. But they do make like different sorts of. I'm deep diving in this. They make different flavors of it now. Actually, that and custard. Oh, love custard. But every time I go to the supermarket, every year there's like new random flavors of everything. I love how much like companies are like, yes, we want to make more money. Like, I get it. I get you want to make money. But they're like, oh, choc chip, mint, shards of ice from the North Pole, eggnog. And I'm like, bro, like, what happened to just normal eggnog? Let's just calm down. They're like, oh, a carrot eggnog from Rudolph's food bucket. I'm like, these names are getting crazy and out of hand, where I'm not looking on Wish for like crazy items. I don't need 3,000 words in the name. And also I'm just like, give us the classics. We don't need it. Oh, walking around the supermarket at Christmas time or like any big holiday is hilarious. The way that just like you see companies like kind of like make these like random like differences to their products. Sometimes it's just like a color change, like Halloween. I definitely like reckon some people are just like, oh, they're M&Ms, but they're all orange, and I'm like, just did we need to? And then, you know, like Christmas, it's like mint flavored or this flavored and this and this and this, but you know, it's Christmas, so you're gonna buy it, and it's also more expensive. They always make it more expensive, though. I will say, I was at my friend's house the other day. She works at a supermarket, and she got us she like bought home, because, you know, when like sometimes at like supermarkets, depends where you work, you can like bring home things that might be going off in a couple of days. It's like not selling, so you're like, might as well. But she brought home some macarons. Macaron? I don't know. I have heard people debate how to say that for years, and you know those words that you hear people pronounce differently every time, so it's a scary word to you because you're like, I don't want to be corrected. That's my worst fear in life, is people correcting me on things. But she brought home some macaroons. I'm just gonna say macaroons. And she's like, okay, they're Christmas flavored. Go for your. We're not telling you what it is. And she just set out these macaroons. And I was like, as the resident eater, I was like, challenge accepted. Let's go. And she like laid out these macaroons. I think there was like 4 or 5. First one I picked up was green. It was green. Should have been able to tell by. I tasted that and I was like, wow, this is familiar. Don't know what it is. I don't know how I did get it like so quickly. I got it eventually. Chocolate mint, like choc mint, something like that. These also macarons were so fantastic. I like am not a big eater of them. I don't have them very often. They're like, in my mind, they're like fancy. I'm like, I don't need them. And I don't remember them ever being good, but these were fantastic. So the chocolate mint one was very good. I was like, okay, you know, that's good. I got, you know, 1 for 1 so far. Second one was like red, and I was like, okay. Tasting it, I'm like, strawberry, raspberry. I was like, I know it's a berry. And they're like, think more Christmas. I was like, nah, give up. They're like, cranberry. I was like, cranberry. Oh, I was like, yeah, I know it's like, it goes on the turkey and stuff. But I was like, that's a cop out. It tastes like raspberries. The next one was like white. I like smelt it, and I was just like, you know what? I know it. I was like, it doesn't even smell like it, but I just know what this is. And I was just like to them, pavlova. They were so fucking shocked. They were like, how the hell did you get that? And I was like, what can I say? I'm a professional eater. I'm actually like really good at eating. Oh my god, I should start a mukbang. I should start a mukbang series. Wouldn't that be fun? The problem with starting a mukbang series it feels like you really, until you become big in the mukbang world, you spend so much money on food. I wonder how those people start out doing mukbangs. That isn't it. We need a documentary on people who mukbang. That would be very interesting. And then the last one, what was the last? Oh, there was one flavor, easy, gingerbread. That's always an easy one. I think there was one more, but I don't even remember what it was. It was, there was one that was just like, it was so dumb. It wasn't even that Christmassy. It was like toffee or something. I was like, oh, like caramel, like Christmas caramel. And you're like, well, is that a bit of a stretch? Yes. But I feel like we should get off the Christmas food topic because, as we know, if I stay on food, I could be here forever. And it slowly makes me hungry. And then, then I'm just like, I gotta go. I've gotta go eat. But yeah, let me know what like Christmas traditions, if you celebrate, that you do, or like what's your favorite part, what's your favorite food at Christmas, what you like eating, because I love to know. I love to know what people are cooking, what people are putting on the table during the Christmas or holiday times. What are our favorite vibes for it? You let me know. One of the other things I was thinking of this week, and I thought it was an interesting topic that I also want to know your thoughts on. But I was watching a reaction as a reason that I love doing reactions and started this and found it was something that I wanted to do is because I consume that media so much. Like, not as much now, but I still watch like a lot of reactors. I love certain reactors. I love what they react to. Sometimes at like borderlines of the show, and then you start like a show with a reactor, you enjoy what they react to, and then you enjoy them, so then you watch literally everything else they ever react to, even if you've not seen it. I love that feeling of just discovering someone that you enjoy like listening to and hearing talk about different things, and then you get to like watch and experience things you like with them. That's the best thing about reacting. That's what I enjoy about it. That's what I hope I can provide. Like, that's what I think is just so fun. I hope people can, sometimes enjoy what I have to say, and we can have like a really fun time going on like together, because like at the end of the day, that's like my goal. That's why I want to do this, because I think it's just so fun, and I know I find it like rewarding when someone enjoys me, and then I love watching reactions, so I know like I can see both sides in a way. I'm just like, well, I love it when I get to watch someone, so it's so fun when like someone else could do. I don't know. It's a crazy thing, and it's weird when you go behind the curtain. You like it's a wild. Anywho, I was watching one of my favorite reactors. They posted The Truman Show, and I was like, The Truman Show. I was like, I haven't seen that movie probably since high school, and I love that movie absolutely so much. I love it. But the reason we watched it in high school is because we're studying it. I think it was in English. We're studying The Truman Show, and I was just thinking about it. And this is one of those topics I've been thinking throughout the week that I wanted to like talk to you all about. I was like, did you have any like? I also don't know how schools in other countries work, but I'm assuming that for like English or literature subjects, you have to like read or like watch things, because that's just like how you like study a media or something like that. But like, since I assume people do like watch books and movies and stuff, I was really thinking, I was like, what or if / how, like who, what, when, where, why. Like, is there any books or movies that like you read or watched for school that really stuck with you forever? And I think there's something to say about watching a movie, and like I have a lot of connections to movies, especially since starting doing reactions, because of like different like people who comment on it, like when like a movie or like a show or like a book like does well, you have a connection to it because you have like all these people talking about it, and it's like really fun to engage with like fans and audience of that thing, and you get to be surrounded by it. But at school, I feel like when you study something, you also have this effect where, because you're like constantly engaged with it, and this could go one or both ways, but because you're engaged with it, you're kind of like, wow, like I really like this, and I'm immersed in this world, and you study it for like a month, a couple of months, and then you may do an exam on it or such, and you're just like, wow, this is going to stick with me forever. I do reckon it can go the complete opposite. I reckon some people watch or read a movie, and like it just depends like how you like school, like how school is for you. Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy that sort of subject? I reckon some people will see a book and like, I'm never watching that reading that thing again. I'm never watching that movie again. But for me, it was like 50-50. Some books I'm like, it wasn't that great, and I hate having to like read and study it, and some were completely different. So obviously I want to know if there are any things like that for you, and I want to talk about the ones that are for me, which is The Truman Show, which was one of them. I studied it in probably like year 8, 9, or 10. I don't remember, it's not even that long ago, but it's at that point where I'm like, I have no clue. But I remember studying The Truman Show and how interesting that movie is, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic to write about. There's so many like different like themes and symbolisms and parallels to the real world and like moral discussions. I think that movie just in general is so fantastic. It's such an amazing movie, and it's so fun, and it's so like serious, but also quirky and just crazy and dystopian, but real. Like, I could go on and on about that movie. I won't too much, but it's just one of those things where being able to like study and like talk about it and research it and write about it in school, I like found it so much fun. I found it so interesting, and it's always stuck with me as like a really favorite movie of mine. And I think it's purely because it's one of those things that I studied when I was younger and wanted to move on. And then through my like how like school works here, like I assume it works in other places, but maybe slightly differently. You have to do English as a subject all throughout high school in Australia. So like up until year 12 you have to do English, but you can divert from that and do different forms of English if you want. Like at my school they offered English literature and English language. Language is like, studying the language, how it works, how sentences are built. It's kind of like people who are good at maths and science usually picked up that subject because it's like the science and the math of a sentence. It's like it's a very interesting, but that was not the subject I picked up. That was like too much work and not how my brain works. But I went on to English literature because I was like, I like books, I like reading. Also in the regular English there was this one thing, and I think it was like a prose analysis. I don't know if that's people know what that is or not, but I hated writing them and I didn't want to, so I was like, nah, I'm doing literature, you don't have to actually do those anymore. So I kind of did it as a cop-out, but I liked reading back then. I was big into reading, I like studying books. I think it's a really fun thing to do. And through literature, I think we read like over the like 2 years, because it was in your last 2 years, we probably read like I want to say like 8 to 10 books to like study, because you'd be on each book for like, a couple of months or like a while. Like there was more in year 12 and less in year 11. But it just like depends how it worked. But in year 11, we did one book that I just remember so much as a standout. And it's a big book and it gets studied in like lots of different things. But The Great Gatsby. Wow, was that such like it was just so fun to study, and it always sticks out. And it's one of those things where I see it and I see like people like if they react to it. I don't think I've really seen many reactions to it, but when people talk about it, I'm like, oh, I love that book. Like getting to study it was a treat. You'd sometimes, like, depending on like what it was, they would let you like read the book and then you'd watch the movie as like a treat, which was fantastic because I really enjoy the movie too. And just like the color theory in that movie, and then the like whole like talks of like different like wealth, and then like the queer undertones, which I didn't get into then, but like sticks out to me there. There's like those going on. It's crazy, and it's in my mind it's like one of those things like when you're younger, like you like things, so you look back on it like very fondly as an adult. Oh my god, that is a word. What is it called? Oh my gosh, how can I not remember it? It's it's the like most common word in the world, and I'll think about it eventually. But it's just one of those things that I remember so vividly. I remember like learning about the characters and like the green light on the back. Like there are certain like images in my mind that I don't think I'll ever get out from like thinking about it and talking about it and studying it. Another one of the books which we didn't get to watch a movie. I think from what I know there is possibly a movie on it, but I've never seen it. But 1984. That was like a serious book. That was a crazy book to read and like study. And I feel like I really do need to reread it because I don't remember it as well as I would like. Also, reading that in like year 11, so I would have been like 16, 17, I feel like I probably missed so much. And I think I still would if I read it now. Because, you know, I feel like you pick up on a lot of different things the older you get. I don't always think that, like, if you're older, you know more. I do not subscribe to that opinion. Like, obviously you can know more because you've been alive for longer. But I think young people are very smart and they know things that... But I was like, in 1984, I was just like, I reckon you could just pick up so... When you, like, are a bit more worldly. But I just remember that book so, like, vividly, and I can remember the way I imagine things, because obviously sometimes when you watch a movie, you kind of imagine things a certain way based off what you've seen in the movie, which I think is, obviously, that's how it's going to be. But with 1984, so I, like, remember the, like, mental, like visuals I had of all the different things, even though I don't remember, like, a lot about the book, but I remember like the different ministries and how things looked in my mind, and his apartment and Big Brother and how things were portrayed. God, I have it up there. Like, I don't know if you can see, oh, probably not, but the top shelf of these is a bookshelf. It's not the most interesting bookshelf. It's mostly like teen books. It is filled with Divergent and The Hunger Games because loved those in my youth. But yeah, 1984. Maybe I should give it a reread. It's one of those things that I've been talking about while doing, because we do the book club here on the channel. If you don't know, I do a book club, queer book club. It's very fun. But I've been talking about it and thinking about it because I've been reading. I've been itching to read more, and because I limit myself to 5 chapters a week, because savoring a book is really fun and enjoyable, and I think it's a great way to, you know, ingest a media, is by like limiting yourself, and then you kind of enjoy it more each time you get to see it. It's just, but I've been wanting to read more, so maybe I'll have to like reread a book that I have, because I think going back to those like old favorites that I remember so greatly, but there's always a double-edged sword with that, and I reckon there's a chance you like go back and you're like, either this is going to be the best thing ever, and I reread it and I remember why I think it's the best thing ever, or you go back and you're like, holy shit, this is not as good as I remember. And then it's forever like stained in your mind. You're like, no, it's not my favorite anymore. So hopefully, I'm sure those books would hold up. They're obviously like classics for a reason. But yeah, I would like to know. I'm just like, are there any like books or media that you went through, you looked at, you studied in any different like schooling environment that you like really stuck with you forever? Because it's a really interesting thing that I want to know. Okay, the last thing that I have to talk about, and it's a weird one, but I wrote it down. Well, I mean, everything you could talk about is I just wrote one word because I have my notes page here, my Google Docs of like what I'm going to talk about each episode that I think about through the week. I simply wrote crying. Crying. What a phenomena. No, my thoughts were, I was like thinking about it the other day. Because like, obviously, I've been watching a lot of like different movies. And I've had a good couple of cry in a couple of different movies. And I wouldn't say I'm a big crier. Yes, I cry in a lot of different media. And that's mainly where like my emotions just jump out. But the Attack on Titan finale the other day, Perks have been a wallflower a good couple of months ago. The movie I literally watched, and after this will be up, last week, the last Christmas movie, Klaus. I was just, and this is why I wrote it down, I cried like 3 times in it. Like, not full tears, but I would consider, you know, when you get watery to the eyes and your throat like closes up, I'm like, I would consider that a cry, even if you're not like tearing up, like streaming tears. I was like, I feel like it's still considered a cry. But it's just like such an interesting thing how like this is a very movies and TV show and episode of the podcast, but I was just like, a crying is so interesting, and the way that a movie, and it's just like one of the things why I like movies and TV shows so much, the way they can evoke such emotion in you for like a couple of hours about these people or characters or cartoons that you don't even know or didn't even care about like before you started, and then you can be crying over them by the end, is like amazing and is a crazy phenomenon. And as someone who like doesn't cry like very often, I was just like, it's just gobstopping to me, that I'm like, holy shit, like you just like, sometimes you get on it and you just let it out and you're like, what the hell? I feel like it's a great, crying is like the weirdest thing, because there's something that's like very linked with sadness and maybe grief. Though in Klaus, the movie I watched last week, go watch it. Very, very fun. I hope I edited it well, but it was a really fun movie to watch. So hopefully it'll be a great reaction. But like I was happy crying. I was just enjoying it so much. And the thing about crying is, and it's so strange, you feel like somewhat, and it's maybe, depends what sort of cry it is. This was a happy cry, but even after like a sad cry, when you've let stuff out, sometimes you can feel a bit empty after. But after that, it's kind of like a reset, and you're just like, whoa. And it's somewhat, maybe it's like if you cry more often and release your emotions like properly, like a human. I know that seems like not everyone has to cry all the time, and I definitely don't. So I'm on that side. But I was just like, after that movie, and I just like kind of settled down, and I kind of was sitting with my thoughts. I was just like, holy shit, I feel like a bit like more like centered, or a bit zen, but also like calm. It was just a strange feeling, and I was just so like bewildered by it. I was like, holy shit, like what's going on? I was like, I feel good, but like, you did something that's like typically like seen as like sad, and I was just like, wow. I was like, what? Psychology of different things and thinking about different things has always been like the most interesting to me, and how different like emotions affect you, and how they work, and what light they work into, and why. Just the way the brain works. And I think this will be emblematic in a lot of different podcasts that I do. It's just me overthinking situations I'm in, or different emotions or things, and me just been bewildered by it. But I was just like taken aback by like how different I felt after having a good cry, and just been like, wow, I feel like great and refreshed, a bit reset in a way. I'm like, could I deal with this all the time? Probably not. But it was just, it was an interesting thing that I was just thinking of. And another reason, as I said at the start, why I like having this podcast and this outlet to be able to talk. What I say sometimes doesn't even have to make sense. I just want to sometimes you have these things, and I know probably everyone feels this, that you have and want to get off your chest, even if it's not articulated well, and you don't know really what you're trying to say or get across, but you just want to say it and want to get it out there, and maybe just have someone listen. I think that's such a fun thing and a unique thing, and I thank you for watching. If you get to hear me blibber and blabber about different crap, but it's such a cool thing, and I love overthinking things and just talking through random stuff that I feel in a week or think about in a week. And I also love talking about different stories of things as I was young and have done, which is all fun, and talking about things. I don't know, it's just having a good time. But this episode will come out, I think, after a couple of days after Christmas. Maybe a day after Christmas. Holy shit. Maybe on Christmas. Holy moly. Because I forget, Christmas for Australia is a day, usually, a day before Christmas for a lot of other countries. So this might come out, if Christmas is, pretty sure it's on a Monday. I'm just trying to do a mental calendar in my mind. I'm like, Christmas is a Monday for us. The podcast usually comes out on a Tuesday, so Tuesday will be a Monday for other people. This is the leaps and bounds I have to go to figure out what time, I base things off American time, how things work. But if this is out on Christmas, or even close to it, Merry Christmas. hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you have a fun Christmas, whether you're listening to this on Christmas or literally any other time in the year. I hope you're having a fantastic day, fantastic holidays, fantastic month, fantastic year. But yeah, if it's on Christmas, I hope you're having a wonderful day and enjoying. I hope you enjoyed. And I was just I did the all the hopes and then forgot that's how I usually end it anyway. But yeah, I really do hope you enjoy and you're having a fantastic day. And I hope next episode I will get to talk about what I did for Christmas, how Christmas went for me, any crazy things that went down over Christmas. Because you don't know, Christmas time is always nuts. People are nuts. Family time is nuts. So hopefully I've got something interesting, even though my family Christmases are usually fairly mundane and calm and actually really relaxing. Hopefully I'll have some fun, crazy stories, or at least talk about what I got to eat. But till then, yes, I hope you enjoyed and are having a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one.